I don't really do news on this channel because news becomes dated rather quickly, so instead I plan on doing some opinions on some of the news headlines that are of interest to me. So, here we go. Machine Head's most recent album, Catharsis, was really bad. When it released in 2018, I gave it an incredibly negative review, as did many music critics, whether professional or not. The album has many negative qualities, such as lyrics that are poorly written, the album meanders too long, at an hour and 15 minutes to be exact. It really tries to be an anti-hate, anti-Trump statement, which alone is fine, but the writing is so cringe-inducing that it falls flat. And instrumentally, Catharsis just doesn't compare well to the band's previous works, which are great. Truly some of the best metals of all the metals. Even though Catharsis has its fair share of defenders, and even people whose opinions I respect, Katie, it doesn't change the fact that Catharsis is seen as more of a down point for the band. As a result of this critical thrashing, the album should have been left alone and forgotten, buried beneath a front porch somewhere. But here we are, towards the end of 2019, roughly a year and a half since the album originally came out, and we are still talking about this damn piece of shit. And why is that? Well, to answer, it's because Machine Head frontman Robb Flynn can't stay out of the headlines and is unable to refrain from ruffling a few feathers. Tried and true, Robb Flynn is defending the record again, and on the surface that's fine. People like what they like, and that's okay. He's allowed to have his opinion that Catharsis is a great and misunderstood record. However, it's the way in which Flynn defends this album that constantly grinds my gears. So with that, here we go. This is a quote he told Metal Hammer about a week ago. To quote, "I'm proud as fuck of that record. I knew it was going to piss people off. Somehow, it's become the mythology of Catharsis. It was a very divisive record. Every fucking article I read, yeah, it was divisive to white supremacists and racist pieces of shit. It was divisive to the fucking alt-right, but our fans loved it. People love that fucking record. A bunch of asshole trolls who got their panties in a bunch about it. Fuck them. I feel like certain groups, the press in particular, want me to apologize for that record. I ain't apologizing for shit." End quote. So that's a lot to unpack. As I stated earlier, people like what they like, and Robb Flynn can think that Catharsis is a hidden gem of genius. For all I know, maybe in the future people will look back and say, you know, that album, Catharsis, didn't get a fair shake, and there's some merit to it. With that said, as of this moment, I disagree. While I think the anti-alt-right, anti-white supremacist sentiments are commendable, especially in this music subgenre, those sentiments don't change the fact that I think Catharsis is a pretty damn bad album. This isn't like The Last Jedi, where vocal trolls try to change public perceptions of one of the best, thoughtful, most forward-thinking Star Wars movies ever. Catharsis, despite how much the alt-right chudleys dislike it for its politics, is legitimately bad from a song construction level. To me, the album being good or bad has nothing to do with being anti-alt-right or anti-racist, which for the record, I'm not alt-right, kind of the opposite. I'm an anti-capitalist, anti-fascist. Catharsis's badness has to do with musicianship, fundamentals, song construction, and writing. And counter to what Robb Flynn says, I do not want him to apologize for the record. I like the fact that he has a fire because it drives him to create. I'd rather have him not change that. I would just like him to respect people's opinions and stop being such an edgelord about it. There's already so much of that shit in this genre as it is, and I fucking hate it. So Robb Flynn continues this quote with Metal Hammer and takes what I interpret to be a patronizing tone, though admittedly it's kind of hard to tell because this is a written quote. So, to quote, "To the extremely vocal minority that didn't like it, hey man, that's cool, I'm not mad at you. I'm grateful that anybody liked any moment of Machine Head. If you ever liked one song that I've written in my life, I'm unbelievably grateful. Thank you so much for enjoying something I did." Unquote. Okay, so that's a nice sentiment, but it's directly undercut by what Robb Flynn says next. To quote, "I think it's unbelievably arrogant and naive and fucking stupid to think that everything I write is going to appeal to every single person that ever bought even one album of ours. I don't expect everybody to stay on this journey, but if you do stick around, it's gonna be fucking crazy because that's what life's like." End quote. So the lesson I'm getting from this quote here is that people can't have negative opinions about stuff. It's just buy our shit and shut up if you don't like it, and I don't agree with that. While negative criticism can be toxic, see Red Letter Media, CinemaSins, and such like channels, negative criticism can be constructive. Seriously, I'm not asking Robb Flynn and Machine Head to apologize for an album I didn't like. I'm just expressing why I didn't like Catharsis, and I hope that with your next album, it's something I'll like. And if not, that's okay. I still have a whole bunch of other Machine Head albums I enjoy. I still adore Unto the Locust, The Blackening, The More Things Change, Bloodstone and Diamonds, Through the Ashes of Empires, and of course Machine Head's debut, Burn My Eyes. That won't change, and I'll always be happy that Machine Head and Robb Flynn made stuff that I like. And even if they never make a good album again, the fact that I overall enjoy their music won't change. I'm just hoping that in the future, maybe Robb Flynn can stay out of the headlines and stop ruffling feathers of people that have legitimate criticisms for this album and lumping us in with these chuds and shitheads, because there are legitimate criticisms as to why this album is bad that have nothing to do with being a part of a hateful ideology. So maybe in the future, Mr. Flynn, Machine Head, don't throw critics under the bus. It's okay to have different opinions. That's just my opinion. And shit. See ya. I guess I'll see ya.